Hello students and welcome back. I have already covered chapter 1, the Cold War era, और आज हम कर रहे हैं chapter 2, the end of bipolarity of political science for class 12th. I hope आपको मेरा पहला वीडियो पसंद आया होगा. If you have liked it, do subscribe to my channel, like the videos and share with your friends. That keeps me motivated. In this video, I'll be covering the end of bipolarity. और इसमें हम इसके एमसीक्यू भी करेंगे, टेक्स्ट बुक के अंदर जो क्वेश्चंस हैं वो भी करेंगे और कोशिश करेंगे जो भी क्वेश्चन से रिलेटेड कंटेंट होगा हम उसको कुछ समझ सकें. सो इट विल हेल्प यू टू अंडरस्टैंड द होल चैप्टर एंड ऑल्सो द क्वेश्चन आंसर्स एंड मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन. सो लेट्स क्विकली बिगिन द एंड ऑफ बायोपोलैरिटी. And students, the first question is the country that gave the aid and technical assistance for steel plants in India is USSR or Russia, Japan or the United States. And students, I think ये बड़ा easy है, आपको पता होगा, and we'll refer the book also. It is the United Soviet Socialist Republic. So in your textbook you can see during the Cold War era, India and the USSR enjoyed a special relationship which led critics to say that India was part of the Soviet camp. मतलब इतना आपस में रिलेशनशिप अच्छा था इंडिया और यूएसएसआर का कि लोग क्रिटिक्स कहने लगे कि ये तो भैया सोवियत कैंप के हैं इंडियंस और सोवियत इनकी हेल्प करता रहता है. Although it was a multinational relationship. Economic. The Soviet Union assisted India's public sector companies at a time when such assistance was difficult to get. उस टाइम असिस्टेंस नहीं मिलती थी जिस टाइम सोवियत यूनियन ने हमारी पब्लिक सेक्टर कंपनीज को हेल्प करी. इट गेव एड एंड टेक्निकल असिस्टेंस फॉर स्टील प्लांट्स लाइक भिलाई, बोकारो, विशाखापट्टनम एंड मशीनरी प्लांट्स लाइक भारत हेवी इलेक्ट्रिकल्स लिमिटेड एटसेट्रा. द सोवियत यूनियन एक्सेप्टेड इंडियन करेंसी फॉर ट्रेड व्हेन इंडिया वाज शॉर्ट ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज. तो इंडिया के पास जब फॉरेन एक्सचेंज नहीं भी होती थी तो जो सोवियत यूनियन था वो कहता था कोई बात नहीं, आप हमारे को इंडियन करेंसी भी दे दो. सो दिस इज हाउ दी हेल्प वॉज प्रोवाइडेड बाय सोवियत यूनियन. पॉलिटिकल भी उन्होंने काफ़ी हेल्प किया. द सोवियत यूनियन सपोर्टेड इंडियाज पोजिशन ऑन द कश्मीर इशू इन द यूएन. इट ऑल्सो सपोर्टेड इंडिया ड्यूरिंग इट्स मेजर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स, especially during the war with Pakistan in 1971. India too supported Soviet foreign policy in some crucial but in indirect ways. तो ये जैसे आपको पता है कि हेल्प दोनों तरफ से होती है. मिलिट्री में जो सोवियत यूनियन ने हेल्प किया है, इंडिया रिसीव्ड मोस्ट ऑफ इट्स मिलिट्री हार्डवेयर फ्रॉम द सोवियत यूनियन एट अ टाइम व्हेन अ फ्यू अदर कंट्रीज वर willing to part with military technologies. The Soviet Union entered into various agreements allowing India to jointly produce military equipment. Culture. Hindi films and Indian culture were popular in the Soviet Union and a large number of Indian writers and artists visited USSR. आपको याद होगा राज कपूर की कितनी पिक्चर्स थी वो फेमस थी. मेरा नाम जोकर है. तो काफ़ी चीज़ें हैं जो इंडिया और यूएसएसआर के बीच में रिलेशनशिप के बारे में बताती हैं. Let's go to the next question. Which among the following statements that describe the nature of the Soviet Union or Soviet economy is wrong? इसमें कौन सा ऐसा स्टेटमेंट है जो सोवियत इकोनॉमी के बारे में गलत है? State slash ownership slash control existed over the factors of production. ये correct है. This is not incorrect. Every aspect of the economy was planned and controlled by the state. ये भी ठीक है. Socialism was the dominant ideology. ये भी बिल्कुल ठीक है. People enjoyed economic freedom. Unfortunately, this is not correct. Soviet economy में people did not enjoy economic freedom. Which one of the following was not given primacy by the makers of the Soviet system? No opposition party to be allowed. इन्होंने दिया था. Society based on the principle of equality. ये भी ठीक है. But no state control over the economy. This is not correct. So state का कंट्रोल होता है इकोनॉमी पे, इसलिए this is not correct. Abolition of private property ये भी ठीक है. So no state control over the economy. ये this is not the primacy. There was state control. Which country in Central Asia witnessed a civil war that went on for 10 years? इसमें से कौन सी ऐसी कंट्री है सेंट्रल एशिया की जिसमें सिविल वॉर हुई और वो लगभग 10 साल तक चलती रही? ऑप्शन हैं तुर्कमेनिस्तान, अजरबैजान, ताजिकिस्तान और उज्बेकिस्तान। एंड स्टूडेंट्स, आंसर फॉर दिस इज ताजिकिस्तान। आप बुक में भी रेफर करेंगे। इन सेंट्रल एशिया, ताजिकिस्तान विटनेस्ड अ सिविल वॉर दैट वेंट ऑन फॉर 10 years till 2001। तो आपसे ये भी क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, टिल when did the civil war continued? So it went on for 10 years till 2001. The region as a whole has many sectarian conflicts, and Azerbaijan's province of Nagorno-Karabakh. Some local Armenians want to secede and join Armenia. In Georgia, the demand for independence has come from two provinces, resulting in a civil war. There are there were movements against the existing regimes in Ukraine, Kyrgyzstan, and Georgia. Countries and provinces are fighting over river waters, and all this has led to instability, making life difficult for the ordinary citizen. Which among the following is not an outcome of the disintegration of the USSR? तो USSR जब अलग हुआ तो उसके बाद इनमें से कौन सा ऐसा है जो उसके कारण आउटकम नहीं था? End of the ideological war between the US and USSR? It is correct, it happened. Crisis in the Middle East? No, there was no crisis in the Middle East because of disintegration of the USSR. Birth of CIS, ये भी ठीक है. Change in the balance of power in the world order, ये भी ठीक है. So the only thing which is not an outcome is crisis in the Middle East. The most severe conflicts took place in Balkan republics of Macedonia, Bulgaria, Yugoslavia, or Greece. And students, answer for this is Yugoslavia. तो हम बुक में ही पढ़ते हैं. In Eastern Europe, Czechoslovakia split peacefully into two, with the Czechs and the Slovaks forming independent countries. Czechoslovakia अलग हो गया, Slovakia अलग हो गया. But the most severe conflict took place in the Balkan republics of Yugoslavia. After 1991, it broke apart with several provinces like Croatia, Slovenia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina declaring independence. Ethnic Serbs opposed this, and a massacre of non-Serb Bosnians followed. The NATO intervention and the bombing of Yugoslavia allowed the inter-ethnic civil war. Which was the first Soviet republic to declare its independence from Soviet Russia? Moldova, Armenia, Georgia, or Lithuania? And students, answer for this is Lithuania. In your book you can see यहाँ पे there is a timeline. So timeline of disintegration of the Soviet Union. ये आप एक बार देख लेना, रेफर कर लेना. So इसमें आप देखेंगे the first one was Lithuania. So अभी हम यहाँ पे देखते हैं. Out of the 15, okay, where is it? In 1990 March, Lithuania becomes the first of the 15 Soviet republics to declare its independence. In 1990 June, Russian parliament declares its independence from the Soviet Union. 1991 June, Yeltsin, no longer on the Communist Party, becomes the president of Russia. And in August, the Communist Party hardliners stage an abortive coup against Gorbachev. ये सब टाइमलाइन है, अगर आप इसको एक बार रेफर कर लेंगे, it will be easy for you. In which year Gorbachev became General Secretary of the Communist Party of USSR? 1990, 1989, 1987, or 1985? Answer for the students is it was 1985. हम बुक को भी रेफर करते हैं. Gorbachev and the disintegration. Mikhail Gorbachev, who had become General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union in 1985, sought to reform this system. Reforms were necessary to keep the USSR abreast of the information and technological revolutions taking place in the West. However, Gorbachev decision to normalize relations with the West and democratize and reform the Soviet Union had some other effects that neither he nor anyone else intended or anticipated. The people in the East European countries, which were part of the Soviet bloc, started to protest against their own governments and Soviet control. Unlike in the past, the Soviet Union under Gorbachev did not intervene when the disturbances occurred, and the communist regimes collapsed one after the other. So this is how the Gorbachev disintegrated. Let's go to the next question. Who became General Secretary of Communist Party in Soviet Union in 1920? हमने किया अभी Mikhail Gorbachev, Nikita Khrushchev, Joseph Stalin or Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. Answer is Mikhail Gorbachev. The USSR came into being after the Socialist Revolution in Russia in the year 1917, 1918, 1915 or 1916, and students answer for this is 1917. Some book भी रेफर करते हैं. What was the Soviet system? The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, USSR का ये full form है, came into being after the Socialist Revolution in Russia in 1917. The revolution was inspired by the ideals of socialism as opposed to capitalism and the need for an egalitarian society. This was perhaps the biggest attempt in human history to abolish the institution of private property and consciously design a society based on principles of equality. In doing so, the makers of the Soviet system gave primacy to the state and the institution of the party. The Soviet political system centered around the Communist Party and no other political party or opposition was allowed. The economy was planned and controlled by the state. तो ये हमने पिछले MCQ में भी किया है. ये सारे फीचर्स हैं इसके USSR के. The Russian Revolution in 1917 was led by Nikita Khrushchev, Mikhail Gorbachev, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin or Joseph Stalin. Answer for this students is Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. अब बुक में देखेंगे Vladimir Lenin, born 1870, died 1924. So, founder of the Bolshevik Communist Party and leader of the Russian Revolution of 1917 and the founder head of the USSR during the most difficult period following the revolution from 1917 to 1924. An outstanding theoretician and a practitioner of Marxism and a source of inspiration for communists all over the world. The Chechens are Jewish ethnic group, Buddhist group, Christian ethnic group or Muslim ethnic group. Answer for this student says they are Muslim ethnic groups. Bolshevik Communist Party was founded by Leonid Brezhnev, Nikita Khrushchev, Vladimir Lenin or Stalin. Answer for this student is Vladimir Lenin. If you see in the book, Vladimir Lenin, 1870 to 1944, founder of the Bolshevik Communist Party, leader of the Russian Revolution of 1917. When did the Soviet Union collapse? 1991, 1989, 1992 or 1990? Answer for this students is 1991. If you refer the book, in December 1991, under the leadership of Yeltsin, Russia, Ukraine and Belarus, three major republics of the USSR declared that the Soviet Union was disbanded. The Communist Party of the Soviet Union was banned. Capitalism and democracy were adopted as the basis of the post-Soviet republics. The Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan in the year 1975, 1981, 1977 or 1979. Answer for this student is 1979. So So if you see the book, the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979 weakened the system even further. Though wages continued to grow, productivity and technology fell considerably behind that of the West. This led to shortages in all consumer goods. Food imports increased every year. The Soviet economy was faltering in the late 1970s and became stagnant. So this is all for the MCQ which I have in the quiz for you. You can attempt these quizzes, students. अभी हम कुछ और additional MCQ type questions और हैं जो हम करते हैं, and some short question answers also, and the NCERT questions which are there in your book, we will cover that also. The main engines of change in the East European countries post disintegration of USSR was bought by foreign direct investments, financial aids, inflation rates, or all of the above. And students, इसका आंसर है foreign direct investment. So if we refer the book, we can see here the free trade regime and foreign direct investment FDI were to be main engines of change. This also involved openness to foreign investment, financial opening up or deregulation, and currency convertibility. Politically, which notion emerged as the best way to be organized political life? Socialism, liberal democracy, capitalism, or none of the above? And answer for this, students, is liberal democracy. So if you refer the book again here, यहाँ पे आपको मिलेगा politically the notion of liberal democracy emerged as the best way to organize political life. And students, आपके पास एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन भी आ सकता है कि explain the Soviet way of life prior to its disintegration. यानी कि जब सोवियत इकट्ठा था उससे पहले क्या सोवियत वे ऑफ लाइफ थी? तो आंसर्स यहाँ पे आपको बताता हूँ मैं क्या हो सकते हैं. The Soviet economy during the time was then more developed than the rest of the world except for the US. यानी कि US के अलावा Soviet economy was more developed. It had a complex communication network, vast energy resources including oil, iron and steel machinery production, and a transport sector that connected its remotest area with efficiency. It had a domestic consumer industry that produced everything from pins to cars, though their quality did not match that of Western capitalist countries. The Soviet state ensured a minimum standard of living for all citizens, and the government subsidized basic necessities including health, education, childcare, and other welfare schemes. There was no unemployment. State ownership was the dominant form of ownership. Land and productive assets were owned and controlled by Soviet state. And students, you may get this question also. What is shock therapy? हम book भी refer करेंगे. Let's see what answer it can be given for this. The collapse of communism was followed in most of the countries by a painful process of transition from an authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system. Each of these countries was required to make a total shift to a capitalist economy, which meant rooting out completely any structures evolved during the Soviet period. This was known as shock therapy. So students, if we refer the book, आप पढ़ेंगे यहाँ पे shock therapy in post-communist regimes. The collapse of communism was followed in most of these countries by a painful process of transition from an authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system. The model of transition in Russia, Central Asia and East Europe that was influenced by the World Bank and the IMF came to be known as shock therapy. तो जो भी the model of transition था in Russia, Central Asia and East Europe that was influenced by the World Bank and the IMF came to be known as शॉक थेरेपी, यानी कि किसी को शॉक लग गया है उसको हम इलाज कर रहे हैं. शॉक थेरेपी वेरिड इन इंटेंसिटी एंड स्पीड amongst the former second world countries, but its direction and features were quite similar. Now the question is, discuss the multi-dimensional relationship between India and USSR during the Cold War years. तो हमने देखा था एमसीक्यू में भी क्वेश्चन आया था कि यूएसएसआर और इंडिया के बीच में एक बहुत अच्छा रिलेशनशिप था. हमने बुक रेफर करके पढ़ा था. लेट्स सी व्हाट कैन बी given as an answer for this. So students, answer for this could be, during the Cold War era, India and the USSR enjoyed a special relationship which led critics to say that India was part of the Soviet camp. It was a multi-dimensional relationship. Economic में जो हमारा relationship था, the Soviet Union assisted India's public sector companies at a time when such assistance was difficult to get. It gave aid and technical assistance for steel plants like Bhilai, Bokaro, Vishakhapatnam, and machinery plants like Bharat Heavy Electricals Limited. The Soviet Union accepted Indian currency for trade when India was short of foreign exchange. तो ये हमने पहले भी पढ़ा है. Just a revision आपके लिए. Political point of view से Soviet Union supported India's position on Kashmir issue in UN. It also supported India during its conflicts with Pakistan in 1971. और India in return also supported Soviet foreign policy. Military में इंडिया को सोवियत यूनियन ने, इंडिया received most of its military hardware from Soviet Union at a time जब बाकी countries were not willing to part with their military technologies. The Soviet Union entered into various agreements allowing India to jointly produce military equipment. कल्चर में भी हमने पढ़ा था कि हिंदी फिल्म्स एंड इंडियन कल्चर वर पॉपुलर इन सोवियत यूनियन. You also could get this question, what were the consequences of disintegration of USSR? कि USSR जब disintegrate हो गया तो उसके क्या consequences थे, और इसका आंसर आप लिख सकते हैं. It meant end of the Cold War confrontation, यानी कि जो आपकी भी confrontation थी USSR और अमेरिका की वो ख़त्म हो गई. Ideological dispute over when the socialist system would beat the capitalist system was not an issue anymore. Power relations in world politics changed and changed. The end of the Cold War left open only two possibilities. Either the remaining superpower would dominate and create a unipolar system, or different countries or group of countries could become important players in the international system, thereby bringing in a multipolar system where no one power could dominate. कोई अकेला powerful हो ही नहीं सकता था. The end of the Soviet bloc meant the emergence of many new countries. All these countries had their own independent aspirations and choices. Thus, the international system saw many new players emerge, each with its own identity, interest, and economic and political difficulties. And इसके अलावा स्टूडेंट्स आपके जो टेक्स्ट बुक में क्वेश्चंस हैं हम उसको भी आप कर लेते हैं, रिवीजन भी हो जाएगा आपका. सो द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज देयर, विच अमंग द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स दैट डिस्क्राइब द नेचर ऑफ सोवियत इकोनॉमी इज रॉन्ग. ये एमसीक्यू भी मैंने किया हुआ है. सोशलिज्म वाज डोमिनेंट आइडियोलॉजी, दिस इज करेक्ट, इट इज नॉट रॉन्ग. State ownership control existed over the factors of production, this is also correct. People enjoyed economic freedom, this is incorrect. So answer भी यहाँ पे है, people enjoyed economic freedom is the wrong, which describes the Soviet economy. Every aspect of the economy was planned and contained by states, this is also correct. Let's go to the next question. Arrange the following in chronological order. तो कैसे कैसे हुआ ये आपको टाइमलाइन से मिल जाएगा आंसर, फिर भी मैं आपको आंसर बता देता हूँ. सो ऑप्शन हैं, सोवियत इन्वेजन ऑफ अफगानिस्तान, फॉल ऑफ द बर्लिन वॉल, डिसइंटीग्रेशन ऑफ सोवियत यूनियन एंड रशियन रेवोल्यूशन. तो स्टूडेंट सबसे पहले जो हुआ था रशियन रेवोल्यूशन हुआ, उसके बाद सोवियत इन्वेजन ऑफ अफगानिस्तान का हुआ, फॉल ऑफ बर्लिन वॉल हुआ एंड डिसइंटीग्रेशन ऑफ सोवियत यूनियन, दैट इज द लास्ट व्हाट हैपेंड. Which among the following is not an outcome of disintegration of USSR? End of the ideological war between the US and USSR हो गई, birth of CIS भी हो गई, change in the balance of power in the world order भी हो गया, crisis in the Middle East, that is incorrect. Disintegration of USSR does not lead to crisis in the Middle East. आंसर इधर मिल गया आपको. आपके बुक टेक्स्ट बुक में क्वेश्चन है, मैच द फॉलोइंग. मिखाइल गोर्बाचेव, शॉक थेरेपी, रशिया, बोरिस येल्सिन, वॉर्सो. तो स्टूडेंट आप देख सकते हैं इसमें क्या है. मिखाइल गोर्बाचेव इंट्रोड्यूस्ड रिफॉर्म्स. सो जब भी रिफॉर्म्स हुए वो मिखाइल गॉर्बाचेव ने इंट्रोड्यूस करे थे। शॉक थेरेपी जो था दैट वाज इकोनॉमिक मॉडल जहाँ पे IMF वर्ल्ड बैंक हेल्प करता था, सो दैट वाज इकोनॉमिक मॉडल। रशिया सक्सेसर ऑफ यूएसएसआर के बाद क्या बन गया? रशिया। सो आंसर इज सक्सेसर ऑफ द यूएसएसआर। बोरिस येल्सन, he was the president of the Russia. Okay, then we come the Warsaw we know it's a military pact जिसमें एग्रीमेंट होता था दो अलग अलग कंट्रीज या स्टेट्स के बीच में, एंड दे यूज्ड टू हेल्प ईच अदर। तो ये मैच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग भी हो गया, ये आपके आंसर्स हैं। नाउ वी हैव द फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स। द सोवियत पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम वाज बेस्ड ऑन डैश आइडियोलॉजी, सो वी नो इट वाज बेस्ड ऑन सोशलिस्ट आइडियोलॉजी। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है डैश वाज द मिलिट्री अलायंस स्टार्टेड बाय द यूएसएसआर, दैट वाज वार्सो पैक्ट, हमने अभी पढ़ा था, मैच द फॉलोइंग में भी है। नेक्स्ट है डैश पार्टी डोमिनेटेड द सोवियत यूनियंस पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम, आंसर है कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी dominated the Soviet Union's political system. Dash initiated the reforms in the USSR in 1985. हमने अभी पढ़ा मैच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग में, who initiated reforms? Gorbachev in 1985. The fall of the dash symbolized the end of the Cold War, that is the fall of the Berlin Wall symbolized the end of the Cold War. Mention any three features that distinguish the Soviet economy from the capitalist country like US. तो तीन फीचर जो कि यूएस से अलग हैं वो देखते हैं हम। द थ्री फीचर्स दैट डिस्टिंग्विश द सोवियत इकोनॉमी फ्रॉम द कैपिटलिस्ट कंट्री लाइक यूएस वर सोवियत इकोनॉमी हैड अ कॉम्प्लेक्स कम्युनिकेशन नेटवर्क, द वास्ट एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज इंक्लूडिंग ऑयल, आयरन एंड स्टील, मशीनरी प्रोडक्शन and a transport sector that connected its remotest area with efficiency. Soviet Union had a domestic consumer industry that produced everything from pins to cars, though their quality did not match of the Western capitalist countries. The Soviet state ensured a minimum standard of living for all citizens, and the government subsidized basic necessities including health, education, child care and other welfare schemes. Next question पे चलते हैं. What were the factors that forced Gorbachev to initiate the reforms? Gorbachev ने reforms क्यों initiate किए थे? तो इसके आंसर है Mikhail Gorbachev was General Secretary of Communist Party of Soviet Union in 1985. He was forced to initiate the reforms in the USSR due to following reasons. To keep the USSR abreast of information and technological revolutions at par the West, to normalize the relations with the war that of West, to democratize the Soviet system and to loosen the administrative system which exempted ordinary people from privileges. Next question, what were the major consequences of disintegration of Soviet Union for countries like India? India के लिए disintegration Soviet Union से क्या हुआ? Major consequences of the disintegration of Soviet Union for countries like India were, it meant the end of Cold War confrontation, the ideological dispute over whether the socialist system would beat the capitalist system was not an issue anymore. The end of the confrontation led to an end or to arms race and possible new peace. Disintegration of the Soviet Union led to emergence of multipolar system. End of Cold War left open only two possibilities: either the remaining superpower would dominate and create a unipolar system, or different countries or groups of countries would become important players in the international system, thereby bringing in a multipolar system where no one power could dominate. As it turned out, the US became the sole superpower. Thus, the capitalist economy was now the dominant economic system internationally. Institutions like the World Bank and International Monetary Fund became powerful advisors to all the countries since they gave them loans for their transition to capitalism. Politically, the notion of liberal democracy emerged as the best way to organize political life. So students, ये सब points हैं, बहुत सारे points हैं, आप पढ़ सकते हैं. You can find it in my blog also. What is shock therapy हमने भी किया था. This is how it, you can all read in my blog. एक essay है with the disintegration of Second World. If you want to go, it's a long essay. You can read it in my blog. And that's all for this chapter, students. And thank you very much for enjoying this video. I hope it is going to help you for exams and your preparation. I wish you all the success. Good luck. and best wishes from my side. Keep watching, keep sharing.